Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? My name is Rob and welcome back for another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about my Canadian-based dividend portfolio, which up beside Wealthsimple trade, and I'm going to be giving you guys my weekly update to show you guys how a portfolio is growing. I'll show you guys what stocks I'm going to be selling and buying today. I'm going to be selling one stock and I'm going to be using that money to buy a couple other different stocks inside my portfolio. So I'll give you guys a quick little update on that. I'll show you guys the monthly dividend income, and I'll talk about some of the things in terms of what we're doing and how I'm using that dividend income to pay for some different things in my life. So one of the things I talked about in a previous video was how we're going to use that money to pay for my groceries and stuff. So we actually went to the store the other day, we did a trip, we bought some groceries. So I'll give you guys a quick little recap on how even just making a little bit of extra money per month can make some big changes in your life if you focus on the essentials. So like usual guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the like button. It really helps the channel out, and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to follow along and get notified of when I post these updates. And if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of cats. I have two cats. Here's our oldest cat, Chloe. I wanted to do a quick little video of her because she just turned 15 this year. She's getting pretty old, and she does have some medical conditions like hypothyroidism and kidney disease. So I just wanted to do a quick little video to talk about her. A lot of you guys have seen her and you've asked about her. So she's doing good. She's just getting older. But here's Chloe. She says hi, and she just celebrated her 15-year birthday not too long ago. Alright guys, so it's Thursday morning at the time of doing this update, March 10th, and we have 109, just shy of $110,000 on a Wealthsimple trade account. Our portfolios have been going up and down quite a bit over the past couple of days. Once again, that's spread across 3 different portfolios here. We'll cover the TFSA first since it is the biggest account that we have. Over the past day, the TFSA is down a negative 1%, down $638. Over the past week, it is down a negative 1%, which is $1,171. Over the past month, it's down negative 3%, 3,327. So you kind of get the picture what's going on with the different events and the different things that are going on. It seems like we're seeing a bit of a dip in the overall market. Over the past 3 months, it is down negative 1%. So we did see a bit of a recovery, but still overall in general a dip. And over the past year, the account is still up 9%, and all time the TFSA is up 12%. So even though we've seen a bit of a small dip in the market, one thing I want to point out really quickly is that when you do have a longer portfolio and it's been invested for a long period of time, it's always nice because you always see that gain even during temporary dips that are happening and whatnot that's going on in the world. So our portfolio is predominantly comprised of mostly Canadian stocks, a lot of Canadian dividend growth stocks, as well as US stocks. And our US stocks have been some of the biggest hits here. Our biggest holding, VFB, which is the S&P 500, which basically tells us what's going on in the US market, generally speaking, which holds about $50,000 inside our portfolio, which is over, I would say about 60% or so, is down negative 0.5%, so 0.5%. So you guys can just kind of get, that kind of just tells you right there what's going on with the different markets. So let's jump on over to the personal account and let's see how that portfolio is doing. So the personal account is more or less seeing the same trend, although it does have a little bit of a different holdings, as we'll talk about in just a second. But over the past day, the personal account is down negative $50, which is, I guess, 0%. Over the past week, it is down 1%, which is $200. Past month, 3%. Past 3 months, it's up 3%. So more or less, it's kind of following the same thing as the TFSA. Over the past year, it is up 9%, and then all time, the personal account is up 9%. So this one's a little bit different than the TFSA. We have much more Canadian stocks and a little bit more variety of Canadian stocks, as you guys will see here as we go through some of these tickers. I am going to be buying stocks today for each different portfolio, but before we do that, I am going to kind of talk about some of the stocks I'm actually looking to sell inside my portfolio, because I'm just going to be doing a little bit of trimming and a little bit of cleaning up inside my TFSA. So inside the TFSA, you guys will see here that we have a lot of good quality common companies that you're going to see around. We have a good mixture of dividend stocks, some growth stocks, and some dividend growth stocks, as I like to call them. They kind of do a bit of both, and that could be companies like AQN, ATD, CNR, Fortis, Riocan, Transolt Renewables. Some of these ones that I'm kind of going over here are ones that I've been wanting to clean up inside the portfolio for a while. We do have HYLD, which is one I talked about a couple videos ago, how I was adding that to my portfolio to get some more higher yields, to bring up the yield a little bit. And slowly over time, as I get older, I'll kind of bump that up a little bit here and there. But one of the things I wanted to do is get rid of some of these stocks I don't really buy anymore, or I don't really hold. And traditionally, when you want to sell stocks in your portfolio, you generally don't want to do it unless your stocks that you're selling have done really well. So the stock I'm particularly looking at selling today is going to be TransAlta Renewables, and the main reason why is because we have a lot of utility and power-based companies. TransAlta Renewables hasn't really done well for me. It's kind of been up and down, and like I said, I have Fortis, I have Algonquin Power and Utilities, I have VDY, which also holds a lot of utility companies and whatnot here. So, I don't think I really need all these little individual utility companies. I also have CNQ too, Canadian National Resources. And TransAlta Renewables, if you look at the company, just hasn't been a stable company as I'd liked over the past while. You can look at the long-term history of the stock, but it just doesn't have that stability that I look for in terms of dividend growth, stock appreciation, and just, a company that's doing well overall. So TransAlta Renewables is going to be one I'm going to be selling. We bought this way back during the pandemic. It's been up and down like crazy. We're currently sitting at a 6.48% gain. So one thing we could do is we could just hold this forever and just keep it. But because we only have a small holding of $475, I could sell it. Even if you sold at a loss, it wouldn't be a big deal because it's just not that much money. So thankfully we're up, and I think it's a good time to sell. So I'm going to go through here and we're going to sell our shares of TransAlta Renewables so we can go in Wealthsimple trade. We can hit sell. TFSA will sell 26 shares. We'll go up here for 26. We'll put that order through, and then I'll show you guys when I'm going to be taking that money and spreading it across some other stocks instead. So jumping back inside of our portfolio, that's pretty much all I wanted to do in regards to selling some stocks. Once again, I'm not a big fan of selling unless I have to, and it's mostly just cleaning up some of the stocks I bought way back in the day that I kind of look at now and I'm like, you know what, maybe I made some mistakes, or maybe I just was in a different point, or maybe I felt different about investing back then, but I can't look at it now. I'm like, you know what, maybe that's not right for me where I am and with my goals and whatnot. So, it's okay if you do that, guys. I make mistakes too. I'm just like anybody else, and I'm constantly changing my approach and how I invest. So with that money that we sold, we now have $600 inside of our TFSA. So one of the goals that I wanted to do inside the TFSA was to focus on growth stocks as the main thing. This would be about 60% of the portfolio. And then we have about another 15 to 20% that's going to cover with these high yield covered call ETFs. And if you guys don't know, this is a new thing I've been kind of working on. And the whole point of these ETFs is to bring up your yield so you can make more passive income. Now, because we only have such a small holding of this HYLD, and it's only about 0.27% of my portfolio, I'm going to be buying more of the stock, and it's going to be a stock I'm going to kind of be focusing on till we can get to that 10 to 15% kind of range that I'm looking at, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to put about half of this, or I'm going to put about a good chunk of this money today inside of HYLD. I'm going to put about $300, we'll go $400. We'll buy HYLD, and that's going to bring our total of HYLD up inside of a portfolio. I'm just going to refresh the page so the order goes through. And then if we scroll down here to HYLD, we can see that we now have 0.69%. So we still have a long ways to go. But we now have $650, which is 41 shares. And as we kind of build up the portfolio of HYLD, we will see those little small dividend payments on a monthly basis slowly grow, which we'll show you towards the end of the video. And the other stock that I'm going to be looking at today is going to be Fortis. So Fortis is a more secure, more long-term, more defensive-based, utility-based company. A lot of you guys know Fortis. It's no surprise. And we're going to put the other $200 into Fortis now. We have $207. I'm going to see if I can stick it all. I'm just going to do a fractional buy since we can stick the full amount in here. And we'll type in 207.31, and that fractional share, which is 3.45 shares, will go through towards the end of the day, and that'll be good for the TFSA. So let's jump inside the personal account and let's take a peek at the stocks I'm looking at today. My personal account here on Wealthsimple Trade, I also have some money to spend today, and we basically got some dividend payments, so that's what we're going to be spending today. And inside the personal account, we have more or less the same thing. I want to kind of follow the same goals that I have with the TFSA, just do a little bit different in terms of some of the stocks I hold, but have the same allocation. So focus on growth for now with a little bit of Canadian dividend and growth stocks, and then have a little bit of high yield stocks as well. So since we've been building up the high yield stocks, we're obviously going to be buying some HYLD here as well. So I'm going to put in a couple orders of that really quickly. I'll put in about $60. Actually, we'll put in about $80. Once again, it will be a focus because I have such a small holding. I'm not going to kind of restructure and rebalance my whole portfolio because a lot of stocks are down right now, and I want to get the recovery from that. So basically what I'm doing is, as my future investments, I'm just going to focus a little bit more on bringing them up inside the portfolio. I think that's a better approach, since a lot of these growth stocks, especially the US ones, have taken a big hit. If I sold them now, I don't think that really would be a good idea. So we have $40 left to buy some different stocks here, and you can take a peek at some other ones we have here. Like we have CNQ, we have Manulife, we have Power Corp of Canada. There's a couple different ones. We could always buy the banks, or we can even buy our ETFs. Looking down here towards the end here, we've seen how the S&P 500 has really taken a big hit. It's currently down -2%. I am a big holder of VFV, and I think it is a good fund, and I think it's a good opportunity to buy. So even though it's not an individual stock and we're just buying an ETF, which I know is kind of boring, I think nonetheless, because of the way how much this ETF is down and we've seen a big market dip, I think now it's a good time to buy. You know, VFE has been a tremendously solid growth-based US-based ETF. We've seen in the past 5 years it's up 70%. But if we go over the past month, it's actually down 5%. Over the past 3 months, it's down 10%. So it's dipping right now. So I think it's a good time to buy VFE or the S&P 500. So we're going to put that through, and I'm going to buy about $40 of that today. So 40.98. We'll put our fractional share through. We'll buy VFE, and we'll confirm the order. And that's going to be everything that I'm buying in terms of stocks inside my Wealthsimple Trade portfolio. And of course, guys, it wouldn't be a normal video on this channel or a weekly update video if I didn't include my dividend payments, and we talked about that. So we did get quite a bit of dividend payments for this week. So I'm going to go through here, and we're going to uncheck all these boxes. I'm going to check dividends so we can see, and this will give us our recent dividend payments. So we've got some pretty solid dividend payments. And like I said, once we bring in some of the high yield covered calls, we should see some of that grow a little bit to help us out. So right now we're going to go to the beginning of March. We have one dividend payment from Fortis, which is $6.42. Fortis was a stock I did buy earlier. We have Riocan, which represents our REIT, a nice dividend of $17.43. We have VDY inside our personal account, which gave us a dividend of $19.05. And then VDY inside of our TFSA, which is a much more larger holding, giving us a dividend of 101.31 cents in terms of dividends. So pretty big dividend payments so far. A nice little chunk of cash that's going to go back inside the portfolio and be reinvested. But before we end the video, let's take a quick peek at the monthly dividend income, and let's kind of compare it to previous months so you guys can see how the portfolio has steadily grown over time. Alright, so here's the dividend monthly income since we first started this portfolio, since the very first month, and the portfolio has changed a little bit over time. So you guys can see that one of the big things that with the high portfolio value that we have, which is $110,000, one of my main goals was to kind of bump up the monthly income just so I could kind of use some of the passive income as I get older, and me and my girlfriend approach things like buying a house, getting a mortgage, getting a vehicle, having kids. You know, our monthly expenses are going to creep up a little bit. So one of the things I want to do to get prepared for that is to kind of tap into some of my portfolio so that I can benefit from some of my income along the way. And you guys can see here in the beginning, it just was slowly growing over time until all the way now we're on month number 27, which is March 2022. 27 months, I guess that's almost just over 2 years. Two years and a couple months, I guess. Month 24, December would be 2 years basically, or January, I guess, whichever one you want to say, and then a couple years after. So we've been doing this for quite a while if you guys have been watching this channel, and you can see how the growth has basically been happening slowly over time. We did have a big month in January, and I think April will be a big month as well. We should see a big month of like maybe $300 to $400 in dividend payments, but we'll have to wait and see. And once again, one of my goals is to just kind of get this up so it's more consistent, so we can use that money for different things we want. And speaking of which, I wanted to talk about some of my goals with the dividend income. So let's jump over to the goals spreadsheet, and we'll kind of take a peek at some of the things I'm looking to use my dividend income for. So inside the goals spreadsheet, we have all these different things that we're using our monthly, or we want to use our monthly dividend income to pay for. And obviously some of these things are current. Some of them aren't really factored in yet because we're working on the one thing at a time, and some of them will change over time, right? Like we don't have a mortgage right now, we don't have house insurance or anything like that, we don't have a vehicle and stuff like that, we don't really travel. So all these things are kind of more in the future. when we do get those things, like, you know, a vehicle and insurance and different things like that. But one of the things that we want to start doing is to try to see, like, what can we use our dividend income for? What can we, you know, if we ever need it for something, we can kind of fall back on. And one of the very first things I wanted to do was our food budget. So our grocery budget is $400 a month. Last month we made $129. So we did go to the grocery store. We did buy a bunch of groceries. I used that $120 to, you know, pretend to buy groceries with it, kind of thing. And we did fill up our cupboards and stuff. And here, I'll do a quick little tour of everything we bought. I was going to do a full recap and show you guys everything I bought, but I completely forgot. So I'll just do a quick little recap and show you guys some of the things, different things we bought and whatnot. But the whole idea here is to eventually kind of pay for our grocery budget, not have to worry about food again, and just appreciate the fact that, you know, that this is something that a lot of people take for granted, and it can just help our budget over time, because $400 a month or $500 that we can use for groceries, it really makes a big difference if you really think about it. So let's take a peek at the things I bought. So once again, guys, I do apologize that I didn't keep track of everything I bought. Instead, I'm just going to do a quick recap of some things that we did get. So this is the drawer where we keep a lot of nuts and seeds and our health foods and stuff like that. We tend to buy them on sale, and I tend to buy the cheaper stuff, but we also accumulate this stuff over time because it does last a long time. We don't use it every single day, so we got different mixes, some different powders, some different oils and things. Going up here, we have some spices. Our spice box recently broke the other day. It was just a cardboard box. As you guys can see, it kind of collapsed. So I got to get something new to kind of organize this stuff because they're all over the place. But this is also some different oils and different mixes and things as well up here. Again, I try to buy stuff that's on sale and the cheaper stuff if possible. Moving over here to the other cupboard is most of our canned stuff. So we always, when you do our big shopping trip, we stock up on canned foods. So a lot of beans and different things. So you guys can see we have beans, some tomatoes, some coconut milk, like a lot of good things that you can mix in with dishes and make good solid meals with. Tomato sauces, some tahini here, so a lot of that kind of stuff, olives, you know, all that good stuff that lasts a long time that you can get that's relatively cheap. Then up here we have some coffees and stuff like that. I do buy coffee when it goes on sale, some teas and different things like that. I'm not too picky, I just buy what's ever cheap. And over here we have our freezer, so we stock up on frozen stuff as well. One thing I've noticed is that frozen veggies and fruit have gone up a lot, so we do wait till they go on sale, and then when they do go on sale, I buy a bunch of them. So you guys can see some of the frozen veggie bags here. Obviously fresh is better, but you know what, if you can buy them on cheap and just keep them, you can use them for a variety of different meals and whatnot. And here's our fridge freezer. We once again have a lot of different things, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, different things like that for smoothies and different things. We try to eat healthy. One of the things that I've been trying to do is to make big batches of food, put them in containers, and then freeze them. So I made some soup the other day. It was a beef bone soup. It was actually really good. So I made a bunch of batches so we can just take them out and unthaw them. We got some fish and some chicken and some other frozen things here. So once again, we just try our best. Going down here, we have the fridge. I try to keep the things that need to get eaten in this section. We have some different sauces, some different mixes, different things I bought here on the bottom right side. Some condiments. I've been buying lots of fermented stuff, so here's some miso. I buy stuff's relatively cheap too. I do make some of them ourselves because, you know, things like sauerkraut and whatnot they can add up in price, and it's pretty cheap to make. So you can definitely try making that yourself if you guys want. We got some almond milk. We got some kefir, some eggs. And some different random vegetables and salad greens and stuff like that. We're not too crazy. I know it looks like we eat really healthy, but we're just like everybody else. We try our best, but we also eat things that aren't the best too. So it's all about balance, and you guys can see how just a little bit of money really does add up. Alright guys, that's it for today's video, so let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you guys did like the video, like I mentioned earlier, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and I hope you guys have yourself a good week. I hope you guys are having some nicer weather. Hopefully that snow is starting to melt and the weather's starting to get nicer as springtime starts to come in. So anyways guys, take care, have yourself a good one, and I'll see you guys later.